Hi, Vibe humans. Hello, and welcome back to another Awakened and Empowered Women interview. We are celebrating Women's History Month with some women who are making history right now in a holistic health field of some kind. I'm really excited to invite today's guest on, Luna. She is a inspiration, a vocalist, a musician, tarot card reader. She is a beautiful soul here to help raise the vibrations here on planet Earth. I'm so happy that you could join us today for this very special interview. My name is Brianna, also known as Breezy Spread Love, and I'm just going to invite Luna here in right now. 8 questions that'll dive deep into what has helped her heal and what inspires her. Hi, Luna.
Hi. How you
Awesome. Thank you
doing?
so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm really excited too. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm feeling much better. I had been sick the last week. I had like sinuses going on because it was really windy and just a whole lot of stuff. But I'm feeling so much better. I feel like a brand new woman. and so yeah, I'm feeling great.
Awesome. Well, we have so many High Vibe humans tuned in today, throwing up their heart emojis for you. Did you want to go ahead, introduce who you are, what you do, and a little bit about you?
Yes, of course. I would love to. So my name is Luna. My government name is Kelly. So either or, you can call me whatever you
Oh,
like. Most people call me Luna. I am a singer, songwriter, a healer. I'm a Reiki master, so I heal people through Reiki, but I
mhm.
also through sound. So I do sound baths. And I also have a spiritual online store. So I do pop-ups here and there, like at flea markets and things like that. But right now it's primarily online. But I also have healing products there. So I make like spiritual baths with like herbs and salts that heal the mind, body, and the soul. So I do a lot of things. But yeah, I just try to put love into everything that I do.
Wow. You do a lot. Yeah, and I'm so glad that you put a lot of love energy. The fact that you're a Reiki master and that you use a lot of sound healing in your practice is really powerful.
I know. Oh my God, thank you so much. Like I freaking love sound therapy. Like anything that has to do with music is me. Like obviously I'm a musician at heart. I'm working on a mantra EP, so those
Oh.
songs will be healing songs. They'll have I'm gonna play the bowls in them, so they'll be either you'll be able to hear them or you kind of will be hear like they'll be in the background, subliminal. But each song is gonna be different. They're like different genres each song. So there's like a little alternative in there. There's R&B. There's like tribal. Just all kinds of different stuff. But
So
they're gonna be
cool.
mantras. So empowering, all about healing, and for me, healing the body with sound is super, super powerful, because we are made up of mostly water, right? And
Mhm.
and water creates waves when it has frequencies in it, and so all of that creates all of this healing within the cells down to your DNA. If you get into that meditative state, you can even change your genes. So it's super powerful, super amazing, just by listening to it, even if you're not even like consciously trying, just by you listening to that sound, it's healing your body. So it's super powerful. That's how I was able to heal my sinuses.
Wow, yeah, there's like actual science behind that form of healing too, and you have felt that proof that it works.
Yeah, nothing like firsthand experience. Like, you
Hmm.
can read about it and people can tell you about it, but until you're like, all right, let me give it a chance, and you experience it, you're like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, we are the technology, the human beings. The body.
Hmm.
It's so crazy what the body can do. And so I did I did Reiki on my nose, and I played frequencies at night. And I swear I felt like this area, it was like pull, like a pulling sensation, like from inside. I had never felt anything like that before. And I was like, whoa, okay. And the next day, my sinuses were completely dry. Like I didn't have any like runny nose, which was the worst part for me. And yeah, I was like, wow, it was just like instant, like from one day to the next. So
Wow, that's impressive.
yeah, well, I did it for 2 nights, but what I mean is like, because when you heal naturally, it kind of like gradually wears off, right? As opposed to this, like I did it 2 nights in a row, and then the next day it was like totally gone. Like it was not like there was no leftover, like really anything. I was like,
Okay.
yeah. So it was amazing. Yeah.
That's definitely like a superpower. Do me, do me.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I'm just so grateful to be able to do this kind of work, because it is powerful and we need it a lot, especially in this day and time, a day and age, or however you say.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to know you a little bit more. For those of you that don't know Luna, so Luna, what are 5 words that you would choose to describe yourself?
5 words. Oh my God. 5 is my favorite number, by the way. It's my life path number.
Oh, wow, magic,
That's a
magic
good,
moment.
good number. All right. So I am creative, super creative. I am very open minded,
Mm,
very kind, understanding, and generous.
generous.
Yes, yes. I think that's right, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think those are kind of like those are like my highlights, like the things that I really like about myself. Of course, we have both things that we like and that we don't like about ourselves. And that's what the work is for, for you to
Sure.
soothe that. But yeah, those are my 5.
Ever since I met you, like I can tell that you're really kind and understanding and definitely generous and definitely creative. And I bet that these are like some really great qualities that you've nurtured over time and have also helped you overcome difficulties. Would you mind sharing a difficult experience or a situation that you had to overcome?
Yes, of course. Nothing like, I mean, I love to share. And thank you for that. You're so, so sweet. I'm flattered. You know, the all of these things that I name, I'm trying to, I was gonna say just like the kind part, but also the creative part. So all of the things that I named, they have been things that have been with me since I was a child.
Oh,
Things that I knew already intuitively without anyone showing them to me. I
mhm.
knew what it was to experience them and live them, without naming them, like, oh, I'm creating art or anything like that. Like I was just doing these things, just intuitively. And even when it comes to working with herbs and loving plants and nature and all that stuff, and like liking magic and things like that, I was just intuitively doing things on my own, like guided um by my intuition, and I didn't really know what it was, and now as an adult I'm able to put more words to explain these things, now that it's more common. um but a hard these things really helped me as a child, and I think that I leaned into them because of childhood trauma, and a lot of us do experience that. I think that, like, almost all of us I think all of us have trauma, to be honest. If you want me to be completely honest, I think every human being on this earth deserves to have some type of therapy at least once in their life, because everybody has some type of trauma. It could be whatever size, shape, or form. Like it could be small or big. To somebody it could be small, but to the next person it feels big to them. And so I mean, I have so many stories, but the thing that I started to share more recently, because I feel like that's part of my story and that is why I'm here, But as a young child, I was molested, and I was really small. So I was like maybe like 5 years old, and it was by a family member. And so for me, at that age, I didn't know what it was. But growing up, I never felt any resentment. I always was able to be forgiving, and I was able to, be able to see my uncle in the same room and not feel some type of way, even though obviously there was things that needed healing,
Sure. Yeah.
but for me it was so easy to let go, just to
Wow.
release and forgive that and not hold any resentment. Even growing up without that, they're proud of me for sharing. Thank you, Spirit. So yeah, all of these hardships that I experienced, I didn't carry with me as a burden, even though there were still underlying things, because I think that subconsciously there are things that show up like in relationships, for example.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because that obviously triggers the inner child. And so, um, you know, being able to forgive helped me be able to live, to smile, to be happy, to create, and
Mhm.
creating is was also a way for me to heal myself and help me express feelings and emotions that I couldn't put into words. And so these things are things that I relied on, that were my foundation for being able to continue to evolve and grow, and I still continue to evolve and grow, and I do it every day. It's an everyday process, and I'm still healing, these wounds and everything. But
Sure.
it's very powerful, and thank you for this question. It's very very powerful to reflect on these qualities within yourself and really see why and how you're here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually really struck by the fact that you had these innate qualities that you didn't have a word for yet when you were that young, but they helped you navigate such a traumatic situation. And at the same time, you talked about being generous. You were very generous with your love, very generous with forgiveness even. And that you're still working on that, and like you acknowledge that there's probably still some parts of you that might get triggered in relationships because you're still working on that healing aspect. But the fact that you've utilized creativity to help you move forward as a tool for you to continue that healing journey speaks to that strength and that how strong your soul is.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Yeah. I mean, that's, people used to say when I was younger that I was an old soul, right?
Uh-huh. Mhm.
But now I'm like, Brendan taught me that we're all old souls. Just some of us forget and we pretend that we're young, we're pretending we're young souls. I feel
Mhm.
like my soul is getting younger and younger, actually. I don't It's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. I'm right now
Okay.
I'm 34.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I'm 34, but I feel like my soul is getting younger. It's such a weird feeling. I'm like I'm Benjamin Button on the inside.
Reverse, reverse.
Yeah. So I was like born with all this fucking knowledge, and now I'm like getting. I maybe because I'm awakening my inner child, because I'm doing much more healing, and
Mhm.
so I'm expressing that more again, because like you're a certain way, and then society programs you, and life happens, and then you kind of like hide for a bit. Either you come out of that or you stay hidden for a while. And so I stayed hidden for quite a long time, and
Sure.
but that was because I was finding ways to escape through like drugs and alcohol abuse. And so
Mhm.
for a long time I was kind of numbing myself. And now that I've done the healing and I'm sober and I'm like experiencing life and love and everything fully, because I always experienced it. It's always there. Love never left. Love has always been there. you know,
Yeah.
love never leaves. But now I get to feel everything, the fullness of it, even the pain of it too, the highs and the lows, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's such a blessing, and I'm so grateful. Grateful, yeah. Thank you.
It's like you had all these layers piled on top of you, and slowly through your healing work, through your personal practice, through looking at your shadow self, you've been peeling off these layers, and you feel like you're emerging as like this new, fresh soul.
Yeah, like a little baby dinosaur. Yeah. That's what I imagined, like coming out of an egg.
Uh-huh.
I used to love The Land Before Time when I was a little girl, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story. Yeah.
Oh my.
So, do you feel like these experiences, with your childhood and just with your personal healing journey in general, does that help you with your clients?
You you froze right there. I didn't get
Oh,
it.
do you feel like this, like your healing journey helps you really connect with your clients?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yes, definitely. Cause like I said, being vulnerable and honest with yourself first, and then with people,
Hmm.
it really helps to heal people. Just by you saying your story, you're automatically healing somebody somewhere. Okay, if even if it's not right in front of your face, it could be another dimension, but you're healing somebody. Okay, you could be healing your ancestors. You know what I mean? Like you're healing somebody.
Hmm.
You're healing, and those words are just energy that you're expressing out, and you're releasing it. And that release of energy is a catalyst for somebody else's healing, and it's super powerful. And you also give somebody permission to do the same for themselves, to realize healing is possible for me. I can speak about these things and not feel that pain anymore, that like it's rubbing a thorn or something,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it's super super powerful to be able to do that, to find the courage within, because it takes courage to do this, you know and honestly, sometimes I don't know how I do it. I just like I what I've done is I just tell spirit to take over. I'm the channel, and whatever needs to be expressed today is gonna come out, and I'm fully here in service, and it's very powerful.
And that's enough. And truly, it's really powerful, like you said, when you take almost like extreme ownership of yourself and you're really honest with yourself. And then when you're able to be that honest, that truthful with other people and just with sharing your story, that you become, I like what you said there, where you said that you become the catalyst for somebody else's healing, and that somebody else will see that as permission to be like, you know what, if she can do it, I can do it, and I'm going to start this journey now. And that's simple. And I feel like it's also really humble that you say, like, and I'm just giving it to spirit, and I'm just asking spirit to move through me.
Yeah, thank you. I'm like, I love that you call it humble. Honestly, like since I learned Reiki, this that I've taken that position, and it really has opened my gifts up a lot more. And because by doing that, you release the sense of self, and so you get out of the way per se, for lack of better.
Mm.
And so it's super super powerful to be able to do that. And yeah, it is humble. And yeah, thank you for saying that, because I couldn't express that into words that way. And I like that you said like the acceptance part. Like, yeah, today you're so freaking on the vibe. You're on the freaking vibe, girl, because today in my journal, what did I write? I wrote let me see, watch, hold on, give me 1 minute. Because hold on.
I love journaling. It's so good.
Oh my god, I know. Oh, I said I radically accept myself. That was today's affirmation. I radically accept myself. And I put two affirmations, and I put I love myself. Those are my two affirmations. Like you said, acceptance, and that's radical acceptance is like radical because nobody does it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like it's unheard of. So it's very powerful, and I'm very happy to be able to share with you guys my journey because it's still a journey for me too.
Yeah, it definitely is quite the journey, and some people have a hard time. I just learned this morning too. I like watch psychology YouTube stuff, and some people have a hard time taking like radically accepting themselves or taking extreme ownership or responsibility for their actions because it comes with that shame. And some people are really afraid of the shame that comes with owning that they did something wrong or that they did something they maybe shouldn't have because of their personal belief system or value system. And so, but there's a power, and like you said earlier, there's a courage in taking that ownership or accepting yourself. Because then you're able to move to the next level of your development, to the next level of your healing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You change the meaning of it, you know, you and that's and changing the meaning of it or changing the perspective is transmuting the energy. You know, in other words, if you want to get fancy with it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's so freaking amazing. Like there was something that I wanted to say, but I forgot what it is.
No worries. If it comes back to you,
But
just jump in.
yeah, it'll come back. It'll come back. But yeah, yeah, radical acceptance.
Hmm.
That's my motto for today. So thank you for being on following the memo.
So let's go a little bit deeper. Let's dive a little deeper.
Okay,
What would you say is your greatest fear, and how do you mitigate that?
my greatest fear. Okay. So I realized that I have a fear. I just realized I have this fear. I didn't realize that I had it. So I'm changing my relationship with money. Okay.
Oh.
Because I grew up with like a lack mentality. You know, my mom always struggled to pay the bills. I saw her pinching dimes, literally. And so uh, that was something that I had to dismantle.
Mm.
And my fear that came up recently was that I'm fear of having money. That I'm afraid of having like being abundant. And I'm like, how could I be afraid of being abundant if I'm like, I want to be abundant? If I'm over here saying I am abundant, like, how could I fear being abundant? That's what I want. But I was afraid that I couldn't keep it. I was afraid that if I have it, it's just gone. As soon as I have it, it's gone. I'm gonna spend it because I'm not responsible enough, you know. And so you have to find yourself responsible of having this abundance,
Hmm.
and accepting that and allowing it to flow in. And so that's what I'm changing. And what I once I realized that I had that fear, that fear I realized I had came through me doing my relationship change with money, right? It came through another form of healing. But I was able to bring that up from my subconscious through meditation.
Hmm.
So when you're in stillness is when things come up. It can be a memory, it can be a sensation in your body, it can be an image, it can be anything. You can hear something, depends on what your abilities are strongest in, right? Or
Right.
how your highest self chooses to communicate with yourself, and so forth. And these memories will come up, and then you're like, oh shoot, so that's why I'm this way. Oh my gosh, okay. Boom. And so once you have that freaking thought, write that shit down, because believe me, as soon as you got it, it can go.
This is the Friday.
Because it's like a thought, right? It's like flying. Like when you're in meditation, you don't like judge the thoughts that you have because you have a lot of them. You just see them like they're floating clouds, like floating.
Hmm.
So that's the same thing. Ideas just come in like this, and then they go into the ethers again. If you don't take on the idea, then they'll come down and maybe somebody else will catch it, you know what I mean? And so writing these things down, manifest them into physical form immediately from a thought into something written on a paper, you know what I mean? And so um, that's what I do. That's how
And it helps
I
you
go with the
process.
healing process. Yeah, that's my healing process. Once I write it down, then I can form an affirmation from that. And so
Ooh.
I form an affirmation. I write myself an affirmation because I love to write. And I think that when you write it yourself, it's much more personal. You really feel it, you know. But make sure that you're choosing words that fully embody all of that you're trying to say,
Mm.
and that it's concise and in the present tense, you know,
Okay,
um,
yeah.
positive, and then say those every day. You know, I say them as often as I can. I try to do them like 3 times a day, but I have an alarm at 1:11, so I do. That was an alarm that went off. You did too. So I have a 1:11. See, oh my gosh, I knew we connected very much. So it goes off at 1:11. I remember and I do them. But I have a bunch of post-it notes on my mirror, and so that reminds me, do your affirmations, girl. So I'll be like, if I'm feeling like very heady or negative, like negative Nancy comes to town,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, she's just my auntie. It's okay. I'm gonna say
Right.
these affirmations. Yeah, so yeah, I see, and it totally fucking works. Like when I say the affirmations, I instantly see the results, like instantly, because they're a part of my practice already. So I see the result much quicker. When you
Mm.
first start,
Yeah.
it could take a while, you know, but
It's a
but you
build up.
see it, yeah, but you will see it, yeah.
Hmm. So your greatest fear was like you're realizing was related to financial insecurity of some kind, and had this realization that it was like money, like sand through the cracks in your hands, and that it was related to this idea that if you got a lot of abundance, that you wouldn't be able to hold on to it, that you weren't responsible, and somehow that connected to like a childhood memory of not being responsible enough to have a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because when I was younger, when I was it was in my youth, wasn't so much like young child, you know, because you get these programs throughout, you know, throughout life if you accept
Yeah.
them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's why it's good to be aware and see them as they come in, you know, because they're other people's thoughts. But yeah, when I was younger, when I first started working and all that stuff, I started working pretty young. Like, out of high school, I went to college, but then I dropped out of college 2 years in, and then I started working, you know, and helping my mom out and all that stuff. And then I went back to college and all kind of stuff. But during that time, like I got credit cards and all this stuff, and I was like spending money, going out with friends. Like I was young, you know, and so my mom was like, well, where's your money? Like, you don't know how to deal with your money. Like, you don't know what to do with your money. You have to be responsible, you know, like you have
Hmm.
things to pay. You have to, and she was teaching me, but I felt judged. But it was
I
because
see.
it came from judgment. My whole childhood, I felt that way, judged. So
Hmm.
anything that she said, I was gonna take it like as a judgment type of thing.
So it
And
became like this wound instead of this like opportunity for growth.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And also, you know, I think like she also struggled with finances herself, so
Okay.
it was hard to show that to me without, you know, without her struggling. And I don't know if she really um, knew, you know, how to show
Hmm.
me. And since I did lack the masculine figure in the family,
Hmm.
the that has to do like with discipline and stuff, so that side I need to nurture more and be that father figure for myself, for my inner child. So
Hmm.
when I feel triggered or do some type of where I feel like, because you're always supposed to feel supported, you're always supposed to feel like you are supported by the earth. You're standing on Mama Gaia right now. Thank you. You know, so anytime you feel that imbalance, you know, just talk to your inner child, like she's just scared, you know.
Mhm.
And so I try when I remembered, and I know that it's connected to like my finances, to me not being able to work with money when I get overwhelmed, because I see like what I have to pay, what's coming in, my appointments. I get sometimes I get overwhelmed, and I'll talk to my inner child, and like if I was a father figure, and I will say, it's okay, like, look, we're gonna figure it out. Take a deep breath. You have to do it. You know, it's something that has to get done, and you're just gonna get it done. You just do it, then you not check it off the list. You're done. You just do it. It's fine. Okay,
Mhm.
it's okay. And it works. I'm like, okay, all right, take a deep breath. Because if
You're
not,
doing
I'll
like
just be
some
like,
stress
fuck
management
this.
there.
Yeah. Because if not, I'll be like, fuck this, I ain't doing it right now. I'll put it
Hmm.
away, and it doesn't get done, you know. And I have to be responsible.
Hmm.
So
So,
that
what
I
is
can achieve.
one mantra that you use for your fear with financial security?
So let me see, do I have it written down over there?
On your sticky note wall?
Yeah, I'm looking. So the first one that I have is, so for me, I wrote this one down because I want to, for me to feel secure, right, in my head, like, is like, oh, I'm constantly receiving money. That would resemble, you know, being secure for me in my life. You know, everybody's life is different, right? A certain amount of money for me is a certain amount, whatever, right?
Hmm.
But I also I have these affirmations, but I release the affirmation to spirit, you know, to give me the highest outcome to, and I will
Right.
receive. And if something changes, then I'll change the mantra. You know what I mean? I'll change the affirmation later. But
Mhm.
right now it says, I am effortlessly and consistently receiving money. And then I will go into like, I'll say, money loves me. I love money so much. We have such a great relationship. I can do so much good with money. Money just loves me. Money finds me all the time. Money knows exactly where to find me. I can give so much because I have so much. I have more than enough to give. And I'll just like, do that kind of stuff, and I'll I'll say whatever comes to mind at that moment,
Mhm.
and I'll say it until I feel it, or until I feel like the change, like from the mood. Now I'm like happy or something. So, and that will show to me, okay, the work is done now for the affirmation. So yeah, I'll say that one first, and then I'll go into saying whatever I feel.
That felt almost like sensual. Like money loves me. Money knows exactly where to find me. Like I can definitely feel a shift in my energy. It's really powerful to like listen to affirmations and see how they change you. What would you say is the key to your success?
The key to my success is um, is staying connected to
Mm.
source, to spirit, to self, to that divine nature, that divine multidimensional being that's inside. Because, oh my God, that's where the source of power is, and if you do everything from there, that you're connected to love, and if you're
Yeah.
connected to love, then only great things can come from that. And anytime that I'm confused or don't know, in meditation, I ask my higher self, I ask my spirit guides, my angels, I ask the whole team, I ask my ancestors, I get everybody
Everyone.
involved. Yeah, the ancestors come through. Let me tell you, if you call on your ancestors, they will come through. Okay, so I call on everybody, and I ask them, like, give me a sign, let it be known, let it be obvious, I want to know exactly like, okay, this is what I need to do because I need guidance right now. And I sit in meditation and I release the question, and sometimes I will get the answer in meditation, and sometimes it doesn't come, and it's okay. I just release it. I trust that the answer will come, and it does. It can come in a couple of days. It can come, but you have to be present to receive the answer.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because if you're like, back at it, you threw out a wish, but you're not home to receive the mail. You know what I mean? So so you gotta be present, because it can come through just a simple word that somebody says to you. Because spirit speaks through people, through animals, through plants, through everything. And if
Yeah.
you can observe it, then you'll receive the answer.
So for you, staying connected and being open to receiving those messages has really helped you stay successful, be successful on your path, on your journey to
Yeah,
healing.
yeah. To my journey for healing and for life, just for everything.
Hmm.
Just my way of life. I think that's how I live my life,
Hmm.
and my life is connected to everything that I do. So yeah, my healing, my art, my music, everything comes from that place.
Definitely. And that's well said. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh my God. I see
Oh,
myself on TV, famous. Hey! Oh my God. Jeez, okay, that is definitely the inner child coming out to play. Yeah, dude, because
beautiful though.
yeah, when I was a little girl, I used to always say, I'm gonna be famous, I'm gonna be famous. And you know what? I don't want, honestly, I don't want the fame. Like, I don't want, oh, because you get fame. Like, I want famous finances. You know what I mean? I want the fame, like that amount of wealth. But but if but spirit has always had that in my consciousness. So I'm
Hmm.
like, I have been rejecting it for the past, like, so I stopped making music for like 8 years, like when I was in my early 20s into my late 20s, and then I started making music again. But like, that's always been like, I've always met like people here and there, like little signs, like, oh, I met, like, okay, I met this person. I'm like, oh my God, like, what, and music is in my soul. So right now it's coming up a lot for me, a lot, and so yeah, I think that I'm going to be doing a lot more music in 5 years, and I think that I'm going to be expressing myself much more authentically,
Hmm.
because I'm going to be more embodied, with my gifts. I'm going to be able
Hmm.
to share my singing and my music without feeling judged, which is what held me back for so long. And so, because now it's not coming like, I always did it just because I liked it, but now it's not coming like, oh, because I want to be famous. It's coming because I want to help heal people, through this music. So the
I
universe is
feel
going to
that.
support that. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
You are famous. You are famous right now. Like you've touched so many lives. Like there are so many people throwing up heart emojis in the chat right now and saying, "Hey." And I feel like when you like obviously people when you say like, "Oh, I want to be famous," there's like a little recoil there, right? But it's because you want to touch people's lives and really reach them. And in order to really change the world or share your gifts, you have to reach a lot of people, which is kind of, you're going to be famous in that way because you are going to be healing a bunch of people through your music, through what you said, embodying your true self and sharing that story.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I love that you said it in present tense. I'm like, hell yeah, speak it into
You are
existence.
famous.
Oh my God. Yeah, thank you so much. I really do see myself reaching great things if I allow them, if I don't get in the way. And so what I do is I tell spirit, like, hey, I just bring in whatever you want to bring in. I'm just gonna say yes to everything, okay? And then like things just start coming in. Like people start emailing me, like phone calls. Like I'm like, okay. And then so then you have to
Oh,
be also use discernment on what it is that's aligned with you, because a lot of things are gonna come rushing in,
right.
and you don't always have to say yes to everything.
But you're opening yourself up to that opportunity. You're like giving spirit permission to give you those opportunities. And also because you're like giving spirit permission, you're also giving yourself permission to see the opportunities that are in front of you.
Yeah, yeah, to see the opportunity to see. Give yourself the opportunity to see. Oh, I like that. I'm gonna make a post. I'm gonna tag you. Yeah, definitely. To see, give yourself the opportunity to see your greatness.
Mm-hmm.
To to do it. To just fucking go balls to the wall and have no expectations. Just go balls to the wall, give it a go, really
Mm-hmm.
try and see what happens. Like, have you really tried? Like, that's what I ask myself, have you actually
Good
really
question.
tried? You know, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, did I give that? Because that's like giving yourself the chance, if you really go for it, you can't say, like, oh, I didn't really try. Like, I fucking went for it. And I promise, like, if you really go for it, you probably will be successful. Like, a lot of people, that's the difference between a person who is successful and who is not. Somebody who's tried and who didn't try.
Mm-hmm.
Both could have had the same dream.
It's very true. That's a really powerful statement to make. Like, did I really try though? And it really calls into question like how much effort did you put behind it? How much time and energy? And it reminds me of this like meme that I've been seeing around and I posted it to my story a couple times. But when you're working towards a goal or you have something in mind, instead of like making the excuse like, "Oh, I just don't have time," or "Oh, I'm just tired," instead put substitute that phrase for it's not a priority. So then it becomes like, well, it's not a priority that I work out for my health. Like instead of saying like, oh, I'm too tired to work out, say, oh, it's just not a priority and see how that feels. And I feel like a statement like that, like, but did I really try though, is something that personally motivates me. I'm a little competitive. So I like
Yeah.
compete against myself to be better, you know?
Yeah, you know what? That's so funny because I maybe it's like our sense of humor or something. Because to me it'd be like, did you really try though? Like, because okay, and then that motivates me in a weird way, because it may not motivate everybody that way. You know what I mean? And some people may need a little bit more love, although I give myself both. But I like to joke around with myself. I like to push myself sometimes. And I think that with that, I feel like, did you really try it? It like makes you think more on
Hmm.
the actual intention. Like it makes you focus more on it because you're thinking about how to answer the question. And
Hmm.
so the more attention you put on the thing that you want, might make you shift more to wanting to do it, you know?
Right.
And so yeah, it's a very powerful way to word things, and it works for some people, it depends on how your brain works.
Yeah, so it depends on how your brain works, what your motivations are, and what insecurities you're fighting against.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. 100%. 100%, because there's times where you could be too where you could be hard on yourself.
Yeah.
But that's coming from like, but then it's not coming from a higher place, you know what I mean? It's coming from ego. So when you say a question that's harsh but it's coming from a higher place, it doesn't feel that way.
Right. There is a distinction there, and I like that you pointed that out.
Yeah, yeah, that's the distinction there. Because if I didn't come up with this distinction right now, I would have been thinking about it still all day. I was just still be chewing on it.
Right.
So
You're like walking that line where it's like, did you really try though? Coming from your higher self, being like, I think you could try harder. other than your ego being like, you should try harder. You're
Yeah.
not trying hard enough. Like there is a different energy there. And it's one is supportive and one is trying to break you.
Yes, yes, 100%. It's all about the intention, where it's coming from, intention. Your words have to have an intention. I have on my somewhere written down. I have things written down everywhere.
I like it.
um, do all right there. Do everything with intention
Hmm.
and release the outcome. So everything with intention. And when I say everything, I mean everything, like from the glass of water that you're drinking, like I'm drinking this water, thank you water, I'm consciously drinking this water, I'm consciously not going to buy a water bottle, I'm going to fill up my bottle, everything, intention behind everything. And your life will, like, you're that's you nourishing and watering your garden, and your life will bloom. Honestly,
Hmm.
do everything with intention. So yeah.
It definitely puts a different energy or a different spin on things, like, for example, I was a little nervous to do the interview with you, like, because to me, you're famous, just gonna put it out there. And so I was a little nervous, but then I realized, like, going into this interview, and this is just as an example, going into this interview, I had to focus on the attention. I want all the high vibe humans tuning in right now to learn something. I want them to be able to connect with you. I want them to be able to see this as a starting point for their healing, like you said earlier, as permission for them to start their healing journey. And so that was the intention that I set forth with this interview. And it definitely shifted my energy and shifted, like, how I approached it instead of like focusing on all of that anxiety that I had, which is all just like made up stuff anyways, right? So it definitely shifts it. So thank you for clarifying that and for saying, like, focus on intention and release the outcome, because it definitely does help you release the outcome when you're focusing on what is the intention.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, because that, like, adding that little extra part and release the outcome is honestly, like, that makes the affirmation complete. Like, because fully complete. I like my affirmations. Like, if I write, I usually write like a few of them, right? And I like them to be fully rounded, like to fully, like, maybe like get every chakra in there or something, And so that intention, you have to release the outcome, because if you were like, we have intentions, like, okay, we have this intention, but we place all these labels on what that means, what that intention means, how it manifests here,
Yeah.
what it looks like.
Hmm.
But if you release the outcome, 100% of the time you get something better than what you even were expecting,
Hmm.
because you allowed the universe to really gift you, something. And everything that you're given is a gift. But when you release the outcome, the gift is like, just, it's unimaginable than what you could have thought of, because your brain works different than Source's brain. Source has
Yeah,
brains, multi-brain.
definitely. It's like when you release the outcome, it it's allowed to be what it's meant to be. Like it's allowed to just exist in its beauty, like one of my favorite, I think it's like Alan Watts or something, but a cloud, like thinking about a cloud and thinking about how imperfect a cloud is, we're not putting our expectations on the cloud and it's supposed to have like round edges or fluffy edges. We're just looking at it as like, wow, that's a beautiful cloud. It is what it is. It just is. Or the same thing with like an ocean wave. We're not saying like, oh, it has to be a perfect wave. Just like seeing the ocean and letting it be is exactly what it needs to be.
Yes, yes. It is Alan Watts. Yeah. Yeah. And then he says, like, have you ever seen a misshapen cloud? He laughs, like, no, of course
I'm
not.
glad you know that.
Yeah, like, of course not. It's perfect. It's just how it's supposed to be. It's just
Hmm.
exactly how it's supposed to be. Even if it's a little smear here, a little here, there, like the wave has a little splash here, it's different than the one that's next to it, but it's perfect, whole, and complete, just the way that it is.
Hmm.
And those little things that are imperfections, like, let's say I was painting a wave, right? whatever little imperfection, that's what makes it more beautiful. That's what makes it so unique and alive, you know? And that's a perfect reflection of us, you know? All of our
Mhm.
imperfections and all the things that we are like our sharp edges are what makes us so beautiful and unique. You know, those sharp edges are like, think of like a stone when it's faceted, you know, it makes it shine.
Yes, definitely. And I think that you're such a unique person, just as an individual. So, who would you say is your mentor?
Oh my God, I have, well, my mentor, I would have to say Michael Bernard Beckwith.
Okay.
He is an amazing teacher and spiritual leader. He has Agape Spiritual Center, which is his center, his spiritual center that is global, is all, you know, world known. He like hosts retreats and stuff. He travels all around the world like speaking, and he's amazing. I've taken classes with him there, but I've gone that spiritual center and that community has been a part of my life since 2015. It has always been there, you know, and so it's super amazing. Like right now, they're not like open, like alive because of the whole, you know,
Sad
let's
face.
not, he who shall not be named, but but because of the whole thing, so they're not like, they do live stream right now. But before, like when I first started going there, like you walk in there and it's just like a vortex of just love. Like you just feel so different. You immediately feel differently.
Wow.
And he says like we have practitioners here that are holding a prayer vigil throughout the whole, you know, night, so we can have this vortex of love and all that stuff. So you really feel it. And there's some really healing. His words are just like, they're just love, and it's just truth, and it speaks to your soul. And it he like is not afraid to use the words like God or, you know, Jesus,
Ooh,
and read anything from the Bible. He's not afraid to make an excerpt, you know, because there's different translations, you know, of things.
yeah.
But so the way that he speaks really helped me accept a lot of things about myself, and it helped me see the world in a different way. And he's always been a mentor of mine. You know, not
Powerful
not
figurehead.
one on one maybe, but I have had one on one with the class, you know, but not like on a daily basis. But definitely mentors can be virtually like this. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Yeah, so that's the guy.
It sounds like he was able to create a space for you, though, that really helped you feel safe and helped you go deeper into your healing process and also impacted you in such a way that you take that out into the world oftentimes, a lot of times.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's created this great space, this healing space. Now, you know, it's transformed, and it's still growing and transforming. But when I first started going there, it was like smaller community, and it just felt like I was going to like a church, you know, but it was not. It was definitely not. Um then but the space was totally just like you're just loved here. You're just loved, and you're seen as like, I see the light in you. I see the God in you, you know,
Hmm.
not being judged at all. And so creating that space inspired me to be able to create that space for others, whether it be virtually or in person. You know, right now it's starting. I want to build a virtual community, and eventually I'll have something physical, you know,
Yeah.
for to have retreats and things like that. So, yeah, putting out into the universe.
But the next 5 years.
Next 5 years, next 5 years, next five years.
Hey. Hey. Well, thank you so much, Luna, for taking the time to share all of that with everyone today. There are some high vibe humans tuning in. They definitely support you. They're definitely throwing up their heart emojis.
They
And
listen to Michael B. Okay, hey. Yes, we love Michael B.
So was there anything that you wanted to share, like any advice that you wanted to leave the high vibe humans with before we go?
Um, just be your fucking badass self. Okay, be your badass self. Don't let nobody bring you down, okay? You shine that light, and don't have no shame about it, and fully radically accept yourself. Try it maybe one day. Try it on, see how it feels, because it takes
Mhm.
little by little. Like, I had to radically accept myself today. I've been sick, and so I got like a cold sore. And before, back then, I would never, I'd be like, I'm going to cancel this interview. We're going to reschedule it. I'm going to accept myself. Like, if this is how spirit tests you, okay?
Mhm.
Because I had all these things scheduled already, because when I did the retreat, I had a retreat that I did like 2 years ago, and spirit will test you, see if you're fully surrendered,
Mhm.
yeah. And if you're gonna show up, are you gonna show up though? Are you gonna show up? And so my message to you is to show up for yourself. Choose yourself, okay? I'm proud of you and I love you, and anything you need, you can always reach out to me. You know where to find me.
Speaking of, that's a great segue. Why don't you go and plug your social media? Where can they find you? What different platforms you're on? And talk a little bit about IBL.
Oh my God, yes. You read my mind, girl. So so you can find me, Luna Ashe is my artist name. So on Instagram is Luna_Ashe. On TikTok is Luna.Ashe. And then YouTube, Luna Ashe. Spotify, the same thing, Luna Ashe. Ashe is ASE, by the way.
Mhm.
And I am also on Ibble, Luna_Ashe. Ibble is our new amazing best friend app. Oh my God. Yes. That's where I'm going to make all of my best friends, all of my community. Like, I want to use that as the vortex to build this community, to help build in, the community. And I'm having on Sunday a little, I would call it like a interactive Q&A slash like workshop type of thing. It's going to be on candle magic. So you can learn
Ooh.
how to manifest with candles, intention candles. I'm calling it for people who are afraid of the word magic, I don't know if I don't want to scare people off, but intention candles is what we're going to focus on. And so any questions, these events on Ibo, I love them because you don't have to be there live. Like, if people are working and they can't attend the event, you can submit your question anytime. Like right now, you can go on there, submit your question. You click the orange Q&A button that's on the event thing. If you want to know more, click the first link in my bio, please. And yeah, so you can join anytime. You can add your question, you can add text, voice, or video. And then on the actual day of the event, I will be there live. So if you want to jump in, you can, but you don't have to be there. But I will be there answering all of your questions and chatting with whoever's there.
And it's such a beautiful platform now. They have like the events tab, so you can like go check out all of Luna's other events that she's been doing.
Yes, 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 yes. Please check those out. The events have been awesome. Like,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I'm so excited for more to come. I already have a lot of ideas. Woo! I'm so excited.
Yay!
Yes.
Well, thank you, Luna, for sharing everything that you've done today. And thank you for taking the time to connect and to also share the information with all these high vibe humans. I look forward to connecting with you more as part of the IBL squad.
Yay! Thank you. Me too. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I love you, and I hope to have an event soon with you on Ibo. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll say bye to the high vibe humans. Bye, humans.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.